This is John from HelpFlow, and in today's session, Practical AI, I want to break down the basics of ChatGPT prompting. A lot of people don't get the value that they can get from ChatGPT because they don't know how to prompt it effectively. And so what I'm going to walk you through today is basically just a templated approach that you can use to get more value out of ChatGPT without like over engineering the prompt. This is not about prompt engineering. This is not going to be a super in-depth process. It's more of like a mindset on how to use ChatGPT effectively and how to have an effective conversation with ChatGPT. So I'm going to walk you through those here in a second. Before I get into it, I want to explain where this comes from, so you really understand like what's the context of where this information comes from. So at HelpFlow, we provide what are called smart staff assistants, and those are essentially virtual assistants for any role that are empowered by AI. And so we're providing human virtual assistants for a sales assistant, a marketing assistant, maybe a customer service agent, all types of things like that. But they're empowered by AI to really remove like the two big pain points of working with a remote team member or VA. First, you don't have to over explain everything. We use AI in a specific way to let you basically like brain dump tasks effectively. And you don't have to micromanage them. They're able to use AI to guide themselves. And so I'll share a little more about that at the end. It's powered by our guide layer AI system. But again, I'll walk you through that in a couple minutes so you can see really how it works. So getting into it, the basics of ChatGPT prompting. Why do businesses not get enough value out of ChatGPT? And I want you to be able to use this process as like a template for when you're having ChatGPT conversations, because it'll cause you to get just way better results. So first is be specific. Be really specific when you're talking to ChatGPT so that there's no room for confusion of what you want done. And so you'll notice in this template here, it's very specific. I am trying to X, maybe prepare for a sales meeting, right? Or whatever it is. And I want you to help me with Y, right? Which is maybe preparing an outline for the sales meeting that integrates information about the client's business and connects our service to their business needs, right? So very specific. I am going to X, and then your task is to Y, right? Like I am going to give you information about what we've talked about, copies of the emails, and then, previous notes from our sales process. And then your task is to create a sales outline, including all this information so that I can sell effectively in the meeting, right? So you basically are being very clear on what you're giving to it. And then you say below is relevant context, and you just start dumping in context. Dump in the email, dump in the client's business, dump in, your sales outline that you already have, dump in FAQs about your sales process, whatever you want, right? So essentially what you're doing here is you're just being really specific. I'm trying to X, I want you to help me Y. I am going to X, and your task is then to Y. Below is the context, and then you just dump it all, right? Just be clear, be specific. Second, though, is offer to clarify questions. So again, just like you would with a human, say, before I get started, please confirm you understand. And if you have any clarifying questions, you can ask. Okay, so that's literally what you're putting in the prompt. So this is really like the first prompt that you're going to be sending is like these two pieces of information. When you do that, ChatGPT is going to ask you some clarifying questions. Like that's essentially what it's going to do. And those clarifying questions are usually pretty brief, but it's going to be really good context for the AI. And so basically the key thing you're trying to do here is just give it the context, like give it the context of what you want done, be clear with it, and then it will basically have that context and be able to do a much better job. Okay. When you answer those questions, you don't need to be that detailed, by the way, to be crystal clear. Like you can just kind of shorthand those responses, verbalize them, dictate them, whatever you want to do, but you do not need to be super structured with those answers. Then iterate through the answer. So like it's going to give you initial answer and say, this looks good, or this looks okay, or this looks bad, whatever it is, right? I want you to make some changes. I'll share them below. Okay. And then just dump the changes. And I'm not going to try to make up examples of those changes, but like just dump lines of changes of what you want done differently, right? And then say, please revise according to my feedback. Again, you're being specific. You're giving it feedback on how it did, and then you're asking it to revise. When you do this, the results from GPT will be insanely better, whether you're using ChatGPT 4.0 or 0.1 or 0.3 or 0.9, whatever model ends up coming out, they're all going to function the same way. Be specific, be intentional with what you want, give it context, and then let it do its thing. These things are very smart, and they can accomplish a ton if you know how to prompt them. And so I hope that helps you to understand things. I want to give you a little bit more detail of what I mentioned earlier of how we provide virtual assistants, human virtual assistants that know how to use AI to make it really easy to work with them. Because this is like the basics of ChatGPT, but I think this will help you understand, like, if you had a VA as a sales assistant or maybe an executive assistant or an accounting assistant, if they knew how to use AI in this way and more, they could get a lot more done for you, right? So one of the ways that we use AI effectively with our team and with our clients is when you have a new task, rather than typing everything out or recording long videos or creating like a procedure manual, you just brain dump it to AI. You basically have a conversation with AI, tell it what you want done. It's going to interview you about that task, and then it's going to create a detailed task brief about that task. So the detailed task brief or the procedure manual or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be created, but it's created by AI. So you just brain dump it, and then AI creates the task brief. The powerful part here, though, and I didn't really touch on it in the video, but this is really powerful, is the AI Copilot can guide the VA in getting their work done. So the VA, rather than asking you questions, can ask AI questions about the project. So it gives it the task brief and they say, okay, I'm trying to do this. Can you kind of guide me through every single step? Or I'm stuck on this part of the project. Can you explain how that would be done, right? So essentially what we're doing here is we're using AI to guide the virtual assistant through everything, right? AI knows how to do everything in the world, or at least on the internet. And you can have your team use AI effectively to guide them through their work. So that's essentially what we're doing. We also connect that AI to a knowledge base about your business, so that when it's giving information to the virtual assistant, it's guiding the virtual assistant, it also includes your specific brand or company information. So it's super, super powerful. And I hope that helps you understand where some of this AI guidance comes from for the practical AI sessions. You can learn more at helpflow.com, and you can actually talk directly to the AI at HelpFlow. You can try it out. You can call the AI for yourself and really see what it's like to work with AI. And so I think it'll spark some ideas for you. But for today, I hope you've learned about the basics of ChatGPT prompting. The lesson here: be more specific. Tell AI what you want done. AI will do what you want. That's basically the lesson. Thank you guys so much. Check out helpflow.com and try to call the AI today. It's a pretty cool experience. Thanks, guys.